for jumping on today. Today we're going to go over using SmartPlans in Command. So some of you may have used SmartPlans in the past. Some of you may have never used them and you're unsure of what to do with them. SmartPlans are automated plans to keep you top of mind with your database. So SmartPlans are used specifically with the contacts in your database. So before we even jump into the SmartPlans applet in Command, you do want to make sure that there's a few settings that are fully set up. So in order to do that, when you log into Command, so you're going to console.command.kw.com. I know it's long, but hopefully you all have it bookmarked and saved so that you can jump right in. And what you're going to do is you're going to first go into your settings within Command. The reason you always want to start with your settings is if all of your settings are set up correctly, then you can really run these applets the correct way. So what you want to do is when you log into Command, on the upper right-hand side, you should see your name. So you want to click on your name. And when you click on your name, you're going to click on Settings. When you click on Settings, it's going to bring you into all of the settings of Command. So when you're on this section here, these are all the different applets that are connected to your Command account. We want to navigate down to the bottom, and there's a section, sorry, just have to minimize one thing. There is a section that's called Command Email. So again, we went to your name and then settings, and we're on all of the applets within the settings section. So we want to go under Email Services, and we want to go to Command Email. And you want to click on Manage on the right-hand side. When you click on Manage, you're going to be brought into where you can manage your Command email. So every month, you get 5,000 emails per month through Command. Based on your database, you may need to increase that number. So if you're sending 10,000 emails a month, or however large your database is, you may need to change this. So if you ever need to change how many emails you're sending a month, you can manage the subscription. That is something you do have to pay for if you are increasing it. So you would click on Manage Subscription, you would go in and you can manage that and increase it. Then down below is the email configuration. The sender's name, you do want to put your name, or if you're on a team, you want to make sure it's the team name, or however the main person, your team lead, wants the sender's name to be set up. So in this field, this is fillable and you can edit this information. So you're going to go in and you can change that information. Then the reply to email should be your KW email address or your preferred email address for real estate. Now, when these emails are sent from Command, because this question comes up a lot, when these emails are sent, it actually doesn't show as your email address. It actually shows as an email address that is agent with a bunch of numbers. But when you reply to those emails, you're going to have your email come up. So that does come up a lot when you're setting it up, and I'll show you in a few minutes what that looks like. But initially, when you send out these blast emails, it will say agent with a bunch of numbers, and it's preset in your account, and it will go out from that email address. Does anybody have any questions how we got to this screen, how you can correct this information? If you do make any changes to the sender name or the email address, just make sure you save the changes at the bottom. As we are going through, guys, if you have questions, please feel free to type in the chat box or just unmute and talk to me and let me know what you need help with. All right, so now we've updated the Command email section. There is another section in here. There's actually two. There's MailChimp that you can integrate into your Command. Most people are not doing that anymore because they're just solely using the Command email. But if you currently pay for MailChimp and you want to integrate it into Command, you can do that. And to do that, over on the right-hand side, you're going to connect account and then connect your account by logging in. There is really no need anymore to have MailChimp because you can technically do everything MailChimp does within Command. Then the last section is messaging. So through the SmartPlans section, what you can do is you can send out automated text messages, emails, and there's task reminders within the system as well. So to set up those automated text messages, there's a system integrated into Command called Twilio. So Twilio is a blast text messaging service, which will make it easier on you guys because then you don't have to go in and manually text each individual client. So in this Twilio section at the bottom, you do have to subscribe to it. It is a paid service. So you'd have to subscribe in the marketplace, and it depends on the size of the package that you want to sign up for. So that's what the pricing depends on. There's extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. So it just depends on how big your database is, how many text messages you're planning to send. So down the line, you may want to think about it and you may want to set up a Twilio account. Now with Twilio, I will put this disclaimer out there. It is not your cell phone number that it comes from. It is a number that you're going to choose through Twilio. It is a Twilio phone number. So some people don't like that, but it is a benefit to send out blast text messages. Now over here on the upper left, there are
Call.
additional, go ahead, yes.
When you get to Twilio where it says set up a number,
Yes,
can you do a real brief thing on that? What
sure, yeah.
we're gonna select a different number?
So when you go in, so I didn't set this up, one sec. Let me get there. Yeah. So there's the different packages. When you go through, you can select, and actually they added an additional one since last time I used it. But there's an extra, extra large, well, 3X's. So if you have a really big database, you may want that one. So then once you go in here, I'm gonna check out. If it lets me run through this quick. Yeah. Oh, not agreeing to the terms. Always agree to the terms. And then we're gonna go through. I don't have my card number in there. So, okay. So what I'm gonna do is when you get to this point, after you subscribe in the marketplace, there's gonna be a section in here where you can go in and select the phone number. When you go in to select the phone number, you can actually put the first digits that you want the phone number to be. So if you live in the 570 area and you want it to be 570, you can select 570, press enter, and it will give you all the options for that area. If you live in the 610 area and you want 610, you can change it to that. So there will be a section in here where you can select the beginning of the number so that you have a localized number. Is that what you meant, David? Specifically, how to get the number?
Yeah. So where it says like, well, you're not there. You know what? Since you don't have it on your screen, maybe I could like take 2 minutes with you later or something. And
Yeah, and if anybody has questions on that, and I do apologize, I wasn't planning on going into that portion, so I will for the next one. So just make sure that you're selecting a localized number from the screen that appears there because you don't want it for a different state or anything like that. And
cool.
I'll create a short video to show you guys that too.
All right.
Thank you, David.
Well, thank you so much.
So then in the settings, so after you've set up your command email, Twilio, things like that, then on the left-hand side here, there are additional settings within command that you do want to make sure that they're set up. So over on the left, when you go into the connect settings, it's going to bring you to the marketing profile. Your marketing profile is very important because your marketing profile actually feeds to multiple locations within command. If you don't have your marketing profile completed, you're actually giving yourself more work to do. So make sure you go into this marketing profile and you're going to go through and fill in your photo. If you're on a team, the team logo, all of your details, every bit of information, especially everything with a red asterisk. You're going to fill everything in. And then you want to save at the bottom. And then once you save at the bottom, at the top, there is a toggle button, which if you have your video on, it might be covered up, so you might have to move us over. But there's a section that says, use my information to brand my agent site. You just want to make sure that's toggled on because not only your agent website would this information be going to, but it actually feeds to your SmartPlan section, your campaigns, and other locations throughout the command system. So it's really important, and do yourselves a favor, take a couple minutes and fill in the marketing profile when you have time because it will save you time. One of the big questions with the marketing profile of what you fill in for compliance for the legal footer, these are a few examples that were an independently owned and operated company, real estate franchise, equal opportunity employer. Those are some options for the legal footer text that you could put in. Most of the people on this call, we would have already set up your marketing profile, but you can always update it, change out your photo if you have a new one, but just make sure it's updated. And then one of the last things for SmartPlans before we actually get into the overview of SmartPlans is you want to go into the command settings section and go to SmartPlans and then time and date. Because more often than not, people are not going in here and updating the time and date, which defaults to Central Time most of the time. So you want to go into time and date, and from the drop down, you want to make sure that you're selecting the right area that you're working in. So America/New York. So before we move on to the actual overview of SmartPlans, that is the initial setup. Those are the items you want to make sure are completed before you actually go into SmartPlans and start working on them. Does anyone have any questions about how we got there or any of the settings?
Hey, Colleen, it's Rick.
Yes. Yeah,
Can
Rick.
you just how did you get to this screen for the date and time? Just go
Okay.
one step
Yep.
back. Thank you.
So I'm going to start from the top so you guys know if you're going into Command Leader, you know how to get there. So when you're on your dashboard of Command, you're going to click on your name on the upper right, and then you're going to go into Settings. When you go into Settings, you're in all of the settings of Command. So the applications are in the center here, and then the additional settings are on the left. So you're going to go to Command Settings, and then SmartPlans, and then Time and Date. And when you go to, and it's the only option under SmartPlans. So when you go to SmartPlans, Time and Date, and then you're going to be able to go to that drop down and select the right area. And it's really helpful to do that, guys, because if you're setting up SmartPlans for specific dates and times, you want to make sure that you're not sending things at 3 o'clock in the morning to people. So make sure, especially if it's a text message, people might be offended if you do that. So make sure you're updating your time zone for your SmartPlans. Any questions on that part, guys?
All good, thank you. I did need to update mine.
And more often than not, everyone has to get it updated because it just defaults. The other day, it defaulted to something completely different than I've seen. So just make sure you're going in there and double checking it, guys. So now the next step is we actually want to go into SmartPlans and see what they look like and see how to use them. So to get to SmartPlans, when you initially log into your Command account, you're brought to your home dashboard. This home dashboard allows you to see all of the icons on the left as well. And if you click on KW on the upper left, it will expand the menu of all of the applets. So this menu will show you where you need to navigate to. In this instance, we're going over SmartPlans. So you want to click on SmartPlans on the left-hand side. So it's the fourth icon down. And you're going to click on SmartPlans, and it brings you to your SmartPlans dashboard. Right now, a lot of people are like, why can't I get rid of these blue messages that are coming up? When you close them out, they will reappear when you come back onto this screen. And it's just to let you know the security updates, as we're all aware, there have been a lot of security updates to protect you and your clients within the command system. So there are security updates, so it's letting you know you can close out of there. If you go off this screen and come back, that banner will be back. They're telling us for a couple more weeks it's going to be there, so just fair warning, it will be there for a bit. And then your Twilio account, it lets you know if your Twilio is not connected. So I disconnected mine when there was a time where they had Twilio disconnected completely for the whole company. I will be reconnecting mine and sending you guys that video. But it warns you that your Twilio account is not connected, so then you can't send the blast text messages. I want to let you guys know that even if you don't have Twilio connected, maybe you don't want to pay for it right now, things like that, you can still use the smart plans. What will happen is if it's a text message step within the smart plan, you'll get a notification for you to send that text message to those clients. So again, you'd have to pick up your phone and start individually texting those people. So really not ideal because it's not blast text messaging and it's more time consuming, but it is something that you can do. But just because you don't have Twilio connected does not mean you can't use the Smart Plans dashboard and send out Smart Plans. So now, when we're on this dashboard for the My Smart Plans, you're going to see any existing Smart Plans that you have added in. Whether you've used the library of Smart Plans or you've created your own individual Smart Plan. Because you can use the library, which I highly recommend. There are a lot of existing ones. Don't reinvent the wheel. They're all there for you. Or you can create your own from scratch if you have something in mind that you want to create. And there is a create button on the upper right-hand side of Command. Now, if you have the Zoom window open and your picture is on, you might be covering that up so you can move us over and it's a teal or blue colored create button that you can utilize. So now, any existing smart plans you're going to see here. So when you're on the My Smart Plans tab, you're going to see the name of the smart plan. So whatever you added in, you're going to see the name here. And you can also change the name, which I'm going to show you in a couple minutes. So that's the name of the smart plan. These are the contacts that are connected to the smart plan. If there is a dash, that means that no contacts have been connected to this smart plan. So right now it's pretty much a deactivated smart plan because it's not going to anyone. So you want to make sure that if there is a dash there, you want to go over under actions on the right and there's this add contact button where it's a silhouette of a person. You're going to click on that and you can add a contact to that smart plan. So any of those dashes, as you can see a lot of mine because I've deactivated most of them, you're going to see a dash if nobody's added. But if I wanted to add someone, I can click add contact. I can type in the person's name. And then you're going to select the person and add them to the smart plan. When you do that, you can decide when it's going to start. So if you want it to start right now, you can, or on a specific date. So if I do that, then you're going to see instead of a dash, now there's an existing person on it. You can click on this eyeball and you can actually see the individuals that are connected to the smart plan. Everyone following so far? Do those columns make sense? Does the dashboard make sense so far? Okay. All right.
So
So
in
then
that,
yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
When you go to that person thing, that's the place where you could create a list out of your database.
So that is not where you want to create the list. So you'd create a list of from your database over in the contact section.
Okay,
This is just the list that is attached to that smart plan.
okay, cool.
Great question though. I've never been asked that one and that's a really great question because you can't export from here. So that's the downside because if you create that list, you can't just export it. So you have to do it from the contact section.
Okay.
Is there any way to get the notifications like first thing in the morning? I've noticed that if I do a task or something, if I set it at 11 o'clock in the morning, it's going to come up that day at 11 o'clock. So if I open up at 9 a.m. or after, if I close out my tasks, I may
So
later on have more.
when you're scheduling the tasks, you want to make sure, are you scheduling them on the task section or from the smart plans?
Well, on the task section, I now put 9 a.m. or
Right.
like that, but when you have a smart plan, it's just coming up at random times.
And typically it will. Right now, there's no specific way for most smart plans to set that, but that should be, don't quote me, but there should be an update happening where you will be able to select the time. And there are a couple that it actually does work with, but not all of them.
Thank you.
So Sorry, but right now not fully capable, but hopefully in the near future. All right, so then the next column is created. So this created column is when you added that smart plan into your smart plan dashboard. So it doesn't mean when it was last sent out or anything like that. Created means when you added it in. So if you took it from the library or you created a new smart plan, that's the date it was created. The duration is how long it runs for. And how many touches would be how many times you're actually touching the client. So if it's, let's say, an email smart plan, and there's 2 steps with emails in there, you're touching the client twice. If there's ever a dash under total touches, that means that there are no steps within that smart plan where you're actually contacting the client. So really, you don't want to use that smart plan because you want to make sure that you're either sending a text to them or an email, something. The whole purpose of this is an automated setup so that they're receiving something from you. Then over on the right-hand side under actions would be where you can add contacts, you can edit the smart plan, and the 3 dots here, you can copy the smart plan. So if you wanted another version of it to edit, you can copy that. You can publish to the library. So if you think you created the greatest smart plan and you want to share it with the world, you would want to publish it to the library, and then every KW associate across the country can start using that in their own smart plans dashboard. And that's actually what the office does for you guys when we create smart plans for you. We publish them to the library so you can grab them. And we're going to go over that in a couple minutes, how you can find those. And ultimately, if a smart plan's not working out, you hate it, maybe you change some things and you can't stand it, you can actually delete them as well from the dashboard. So if you go to the 3 dots and then click on delete, you can delete it out. What you will notice, if you go to the 3 dots and delete is grayed out, it means it's an active smart plan. So because I have an active contact connected to this smart plan, I cannot delete it, which is a good thing because you don't want to just delete it if somebody is receiving the information. So those are the different columns within your My Smart Plans People Plan dashboard. Any questions on any of that, guys? All right. So now if you did publish it to the library, you can see under published, the ones that you shared with the world are under the publish section. But now this is all well and good, but you might be on this Smart Plans dashboard and you might have nothing here. You've never used Smart Plans, so you don't have anything. So what we're going to go over today is how to actually get the Smart Plans from the Smart Plan library and get them into your My Smart Plans dashboard.
Colleen,
Yeah,
when you publish a smart plan through the office,
yes,
are you putting it in the library? It
yes,
sounds like- So we would have to go into that general library and find it.
yes.
Okay,
And what I'm going to do in a couple minutes, I'm going to show you guys where the Ava Polanski one is. So if you would like to share it with your database
be
so
great.
that we can help her as much as possible, it is in the library for you guys to utilize. So I'm going to show you that in a couple minutes. So a lot of you are probably sitting there and saying, great, I know what each column is, but how do I actually get a smart plan and what smart plans do I use from the Smart Plan library? So now we're going to go from your Smart Plans dashboard to the library. So if we click on library, you're going to be brought into this section that can be overwhelming because there are a lot of different options. So when you go in, you're first going to see that there's a search bar up at the top, and you can search for a smart plan name. You can search for an author name, description, anything that you want to filter by, you can filter by. So if you want it to have a certain duration, have a certain amount of rating, downloads, anything like that, you can customize the filters. Let's say you're on a training class about smart plans and they mention a great smart plan you want to find in the library. You can search by the name. But also you can scroll through these different sections. There's featured, Keller Williams, there's top rated, and then what's new. So you can actually search through these, and there's not just 3 or 4. There's an arrow on the right-hand side that you can scroll through, or you can click see all and see all of the smart plans under that specific section. Keep in mind, a lot of the featured ones and what's new are smart plans that were created by fellow KW associates. What ones you want to use when you're first getting started most likely will be the Keller Williams version, because those are the ones that are correctly created. So everything is set up the way that it should be to get started, whereas it hasn't been customized by an individual agent. So as you can see under the Keller Williams section, you could see biweekly neighborhood nurture, 8x8 new contact, and so on. So these sections here are called cards. These cards will tell you the name of the smart plan, how long it runs for, so the duration, how many touches it makes, a description, how many times it's been downloaded, what the rating of the smart plan is, who created the smart plan, when they created it, the steps within the smart plan, and then you can click on Add Smart Plan to add this to your Smart Plans dashboard. So what I want you guys to do when you have time, I want you to sit down and look through these different smart plans, because just because what we're going over today doesn't mean you have to use those. You could use a completely different smart plan for your business. Everyone's business is different, so just make sure that you're going through these smart plans and finding the ones that work best for you. The ones I'm going to mention that are working for others and really have grown their business, biweekly neighborhood nurture, monthly neighborhood nurture. There's one for reviews. So if you're looking to get testimonials to a Google page, or if you want it directly to your website, wherever you want to capture those reviews, you can set up a smart plan for that to capture them. There's quarterly call plans. And then from there, you could do, there's some holiday ones in here. There are also the ones that the office has created, which we're going to get into in a second. So when you're on the card, if you click on View Steps, it's actually going to show you what the steps are. So day one will be, let's say, make a phone call or email, and it will show you just briefly a little bit of what's within that smart plan. So any questions on what the card is, how you find a smart plan, or anything like that so far? Okay. So now we're actually going to get into it and add a smart plan to our dashboard so you can see what that looks like.
Hey,
Yeah,
comment.
go ahead, Rick.
So it was bi-weekly, smart plan, 6 months check-in.
So yep, bi-weekly, monthly neighborhood nurture. Both are neighborhood nurtures. You decide if it's bi-weekly or monthly that you want to send it. Then there's testimonials or reviews that you can send out to your database to get reviews. And then quarterly call plan has been a good one.
Quarterly what?
Quarterly call plan.
Call plan, okay.
And that's where the system will actually send you reminders to quarterly call the individuals that you add to that smart plan.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem. Now, again, you might decide, listen, those aren't the ones I want to use, and you go through here and you find the ones that work for you, or you create your own, whatever works best for you guys. So now let's say I want to set up the monthly neighborhood nurture. So if I go up here, you can type in and you're going to see, if you type in neighborhood nurture, you're going to see tons. Keep in mind, you do want to use the Keller Williams ones instead of an individual agent, because those are customized and they might not be what you're looking for. So you may need to edit them, and that's just more work for you. So what you'll want to do is you want to decide between bi-weekly or monthly. It really depends on the clients, because you may sit there and say, okay, I have a lot of hot leads right now that maybe I want to send bi-weekly. If you want to send monthly, maybe they're not as hot of a lead, or maybe it's a seller that you just want them to get a market snapshot, monthly. So neighborhood nurtures are snapshots of the area that they're either currently living in or looking to move to. if you are looking to use the neighborhood nurture, you have to have a neighborhood added to their contact first. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to navigate out of this screen for a second because I want to show you guys how to add a neighborhood so then we could create the smart plan. Now, if you don't have a neighborhood in there and you've added this smart plan and you go to add a contact, the system will tell you if there's no neighborhood attached. So it's not like you're flying blind and you have no idea if the neighborhoods are in there. The system will, there's a little red line that appears that will say 0 neighborhoods. So you know that if you add them, they're not going to get anything. But the first step, if you're looking to use biweekly or monthly neighborhood nurture, is you have to add the neighborhood. So if we go into the contact section here, so I'm navigating out for a second, but it'll come full circle, so give it a sec. So if you go to contacts here, you're going to see all your existing contacts. You can go into a specific contact. And let's say, I'm going to pull up me. So in here, if you've added the home address of the individual, or perhaps you've already added a neighborhood for them, you're going to see any existing neighborhoods under their contact record. So in here under neighborhoods, you're going to see any existing ones, which would have the blue coloring here with the name of the neighborhood. And then there's also add neighborhood. So right now, if I added this individual to the smart plan, they would be getting market snapshots all in one email, but they would get market snapshots for 4 different areas. So keep that in mind if you're setting people up on smart plans and you have multiple neighborhoods, because a buyer might want to look in multiple areas. They're going to get the market snapshot, but it's all in one email and it's multiple sections of the different areas. So let's say I want to add a neighborhood in here.
Sorry, Colleen,
Yeah, go
I have a
ahead.
quick question.
Yes.
Can you isolate a planned community within a neighborhood?
So yes, you can. Like, I'm going to do Penn Estates in a second, so
Okay.
I can specifically look up Penn Estates.
Apologies for jumping ahead.
No, please, no, anytime, guys. Please unmute and say what you need to, because I want everybody to know and understand what I'm talking about. So with what Lauren was saying, when you're adding a neighborhood, just know that our area is a little bit different. So when you go in to pull up a neighborhood, it might not immediately show up. So you might have to go through the map and maybe do a surrounding neighborhood because it doesn't always appear. And they are working to build it out more, but it's because of the area that we live in. So with that being said, when you're under neighborhoods, if you go to add neighborhood, you're going to see that there's a search bar here, search for a neighborhood. You can type in that neighborhood. So if you start typing, it should start appearing and allow you to select the neighborhood you're looking for. Now, if it doesn't, so let's say for some reason it only pulled up the Penn State Estates in York. Well, that's not the one I mean. So I can go to find on map and I can find that area. So if I type in, let's say, States, it's going to zero in on that area. So I'm getting closer to Penn Estates and see all of these little sections. If you hover over them, those are the different neighborhoods or communities that were built out so far. And guys, I'm going to be honest. There are times when you look at this and you're like, that's not even a community. What are they talking about? So you just want to be mindful of that. And you may still want to select it because it will show the homes in that given area. I was meeting with an agent the other day and we were looking for Pocono Highland Lake Estates. And it actually was showing up as PHLE instead of spelling it all out. So just keep that in mind as you're going through this and trying to find the neighborhoods. You might have to do a little digging and you might have to zoom in and find the specific area or surrounding community. So let's say I get to this point. Go ahead. I think somebody unmuted.
Hi, Colleen. It's Dominic.
Hey, Dominic, what's going on?
Sorry, I came in a little bit late, but with the neighborhood nurture, are you saying that it actually gives like statistical information on the neighborhood, or?
Yes, it does. Yep, they're going to actually get the stats for that area. It's a snapshot for that area that you're sending to them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. And it actually pulls from the MLS, guys. So that's the importance. We have your MLS IDs, everything in the system. So it's pulling from the MLSs. So you're getting accurate data. With it being a little bit off, the agent I met with the other day, it is a little bit off at points, but for the most part, it is giving the accurate information. So you're going to pull up the specific area. So let's say, see, that's Pocono Highland Lake Estates. See how it's coming up? It's really small, but it's PHLE. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes it's abbreviated. You don't really know why, but just go through and make sure that you're selecting the area that you want. So let's just say, maybe I want to throw in Blue Mountain Lake. So if I do that, I'm adding the community and then I'm saving. And what will happen is it will add in that additional community and you'll see any communities you've added. And it actually also has suggested neighborhoods. So maybe you didn't think to click on one and you're like, oh, that is a good neighborhood because it's right next door. You can do the suggested neighborhoods by just clicking, and it's a quick link that you can click on. So now I've set it up where this individual will get 5 different market snapshots for the areas that they're looking in. If I don't want to send all those, I can delete some out. So maybe I don't want those areas, I can remove them. And maybe I just want Stroudsburg and Penn Estates. By clicking the small X, you can actually remove those areas that you don't want shown. So then once you've added the neighborhoods, so the first step, if you're going to use the neighborhood nurtures, whether it's biweekly or monthly, you have to add the neighborhood. So we went to the contact, we looked up the contact, and then in this section, we added the neighborhoods. Now we're ready to go back to SmartPlans and actually add the SmartPlan to your dashboard to add contacts to it. So we're going to go in and we're going to click on SmartPlans. So again, the 4th icon down on the left. You're on your SmartPlans dashboard. We're going to go to the library. And we're going to choose between biweekly or monthly neighborhood nurture. Again, it is entirely up to you, specific to your contacts. So if you know that they would only want it monthly, do monthly. If it's biweekly, that's better, do biweekly. So in here, let's just say I know this client will want all the information they can get biweekly. So in here where it says biweekly on this card, I'm going to click on Add SmartPlan. When I click on Add SmartPlan, this is the moment where you can change the name of the SmartPlan. So if you don't want it to say biweekly neighborhood nurture, this is for your reference, guys. So you can update this to your liking. I don't typically update them. I just leave them as is because it says exactly what they are. If you want to edit them, you can go right into this field and you can type in here and change it. Then you're going to click on download. One big question that always comes up is, if I download it, is it downloading to my computer because I don't have enough storage? It is not. Command is a cloud and it is saving to the cloud. So it's saving to your specific SmartPlans dashboard in the cloud. So we are downloading, and when you download, you'll get a little message at the bottom that it's successful and it was added. If you've already added that SmartPlan, it will give you an error message that says it's already existing in your library. So if we go back to My SmartPlans, again, those messages are going to continue to pop up for right now. You can always close them if you want to. But what you're going to notice is now that we've added that SmartPlan, you're going to see My Biweekly Neighborhood Nurture is under the name of the first SmartPlan that was created today. So this one's a little bit different because there's really no editing that you need to do, because what happens is it creates the market snapshot from the MLS and sends it out. And because you completed your marketing profile way back in the beginning, you don't need to change any of your contact information at the bottom of the email that's going out. If you wanted to go in to try and edit it, you can go over under Actions and the small grayed out pencil where you click Edit. It will pull up where you can edit the information. So this is the SmartPlan customized section. So you can go in and you can edit the information. The neighborhood nurture is a little bit different because when you go into it, you're going to see that over on the right, so I clicked on send email, over on the right, it will say neighborhood snapshot. And when you click on learn more, it's going to bring you to an article about what to do to set up the neighborhood nurture smart plan, because there is nothing to edit because it's an automatic snapshot that comes from the MLS. So this one's a little bit different than other smart plans. So really, there's nothing you need to edit at this point. So you're going to save and then close. And when you go back, you're going to see that smart plan is ready to have contacts added to it. So at this point, because it's market snapshot, you're going to go under actions and click on add contact. When you click on add contact, you're going to see all of your existing contacts. So if you have specific people that you want to add to this smart plan, you can either type in their name, or if you've tagged them, so let's say all sellers, all buyers, you've had them tagged, you can go to tags and you can select which tag you want to utilize. So if I want this to go to all my buyers, I can go to buyer and then select the individual. Obviously, I'm not an agent, so I have no buyers under there. But you'd see all of the existing buyers and you'd be able to select them. If I'm looking for a specific person, I can type in their name. And what you'll notice is it will either say 0 neighborhood, which means you have to go back and you have to add a neighborhood for them. Or it will say how many neighborhoods they have attached to their name. So we're going to select the person we want to send to. And then we're going to add to SmartPlan. When you add to SmartPlan, again, you're deciding if you want it to start right now or on a specific date. And then you're going to say, I have read the TCPA disclaimer, because always follow TCPA guidelines and do not call. So you're going to select that and then confirm. And then what will happen, and as soon as it comes through, in a few minutes, I'll get the market snapshot email. And I'm going to pull that up in a few minutes for you guys to see. So I know we went over a lot of information in a short period of time there, but I do want to get to the Ava Polanski one as well, so you can see where we access the existing smart plans the office creates for you. Before I move on though, does anyone have questions about how to add a neighborhood to a contact? Does anyone have questions about how to add a contact to the smart plan? Or anything else? Does anyone have questions on?
Colleen?
Yes, Frank.
Yes. So back where you, in the contact,
Yes.
you were able to preview what they're going to get. And on the top, it actually says, you know, select an agent. So is there a way to block that? Because if I'm sending it to buyers, or that I'm marketing to, but I don't have or sellers, I don't have any signed agreements, they're going to be able to search and they could find another agent. So if there's no way to block that.
So where are you seeing that?
If you go to contacts.
Do you mean in this section where we're in the contacts, or
I'm in the contact section,
mm-hmm.
and I go where it says the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It has a map, and it says in the left right hand bottom corner preview. When you hit preview,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you I guess what they're going to get, correct?
So yes,
that's what okay.
They're going to get the market snapshot with the information.
Right. If you go up to the upper right hand corner, there's a search, find a KW agent, become
Mm-hmm.
a KW agent.
Yep, and that's always going to be there. However, the difference is when you actually are sending it to them, it connects to your website.
Okay.
Yep,
All
so
right.
that's the difference,
Okay.
because your name is going to be branded everywhere. This
Okay.
is just a preview showing find a KW agent, become an agent.
Okay.
Those are default fields that will be there, but for the most part, your contact information will be the default information when you send it.
Okay, that's good. I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Is there a way in SmartPlans to do a plan by date? Not, in other words, if I want on the 15th of every month to send something. Or if, in other words, everything seems to be, here's one thing and then 10 days later, something else. If I want to do a plan where it goes by date. So if I add a new buyer, let's say, I want them to get, they're not going they're going to start different from every other buyer I have in the system. So
Right.
is there any way to put a date in where that action will happen?
So when you add them in, so if you go in and you're adding them, instead of start now,
Right, but that's only going
you
to
can
be for that
select
one action,
yes. So
right?
what you're talking about is you can create a custom smart plan. So that's where you
Okay,
create it from scratch. And then you
right.
can add in an email step, and then 30 days from then, do a delay of 30 days. And then 30 days from then, they'll get it on the next. So on the 15th, essentially. So every month they're getting it on the same date.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
Do you get what I mean? Or so when
Right,
you go
right,
in, go ahead.
right. Let's say, for example, let's say, for example, I already have a client
Mhm.
and I have it set up so that they're going to get an email for Christmas.
Right.
Right. But it's going to be a certain date from now. In other words, if there, what I'm saying is you can't set up a plan. You know what? Let me formulate that better. But
I think I
because
get what you're saying. So you want it so that it just goes out to everyone the same date, regardless of when you add them to the smart plan, right?
right, when I had top producer, you
Mm-hmm.
were able to say, okay, John Smith, this is the plan, and this is when he gets it. It's all different because when I
Right.
add Mary Smith and 2 days later, it'll start then, and you know what I'm saying? And it goes by.
Yeah. So
But
this doesn't work the same way. A campaign might be a better option for
okay,
you. So campaigns are a little bit different. But campaigns are for those one step emails, basically. You can do a one step in here, but I think
okay,
campaigns might be more so what you're looking for. But we can
okay,
explore that, and you and I can meet and go over that.
okay. All right,
Yeah,
great.
and if
All right,
anybody else
thanks.
has further questions on that, but I get what you mean, Frank. But yeah,
Okay,
right now, that's not exactly how it's set up.
okay,
But you should be able to. I keep hearing it's going to be a possibility that we could set the specific date like you're talking about, but it's not available yet.
okay. All right,
But I'll keep
all
you
right,
posted.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have questions about how we added anyone to a neighborhood or how we got to this point? Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so now we often send out emails to you guys and we'll say, we set up this smart plan for you, share it with your database. Whether it's an event that we're having or a fundraiser, maybe it's the turkey drive, which we didn't do this year because we're trying to help one of our agents. But we may get back to next year or have different events. So, with that being said, we want you guys to be able to share that with your database. So if we send out an email, usually we send the step-by-step instructions of how to add that smart plan to your dashboard and send out to your contacts. So I want to show you guys how to actually get to, for this example, Ava Polanski's fundraiser and how to share it with your clients. So what you can do is you can go to the library right here. And anytime we share a smart plan with you guys, it comes from our demo office account. So what you really want to look for is when we send out that email, the name of the smart plan is what you want to search for. It's the easiest, fastest way to find the smart plan. So in this instance, we called the smart plan name the Ava Polanski fundraiser. So if you type in the search bar here, Ava Polanski, so it's EWA, last name Polanski, fundraiser, and you search, within the library, you're going to see the results for Ava's fundraiser. And what you're going to see is the duration is 15 days and it's touching clients 3 times because there's 3 separate email steps within this smart plan. So the name of the smart plan, the description, the account it came from, you can click on view steps, and you can see that there's 3 email steps, and we actually have the set time. So we want it sent in the morning between 8 and 12 when it goes to the clients. Then over here, you can add the smart plan to your dashboard to actually send to your clients. So you can click on Add Smart Plan, and then you can rename it if you'd like, and you want to download it so that it goes to your Smart Plans dashboard. Before I do that, does everybody understand how I searched for it to find the Office Smart Plan? All right. So now, when we click on Add Smart Plan, we're going to click on Download, and it will add to your Smart Plans dashboard. When you go into your Smart Plans dashboard, the same as before, you're going to see the name of the Smart Plan. You can click on this little caret on the left-hand side, and you can actually see the steps within there as well. And then the contact section, that dash, right now, nobody is attached to this Smart Plan. Then when it was created, the duration, how many touches, and over here under actions, you can customize it. So maybe you don't want to just send this Smart Plan to your database. Maybe you want to edit it first, customize it so that you could put something personal in there before you send it out. So if you go under actions, anytime if you're taking a smart plan from the smart plan library, you want to edit it. Because every now and then, maybe you'll grab a smart plan that was, let's say, Marty Miller's, and it will be customized with Marty's information. You don't want to send out a smart plan that's customized with someone else's information. That's the quickest way someone's going to unsubscribe from your database. You do not want that. So make sure when you're adding a smart plan from the library that you're going under actions, you're clicking on the pencil to edit, and it's going to bring you in to where you can customize the smart plan. Over on the left-hand side is where you can add additional steps to the smart plan if you would like. You can add a task, you can add a make a phone call step, send email, send text, or if you want to add to smart plan, you can add to smart plan. But right now we built this out for you. So there are already the steps built in that you can customize if you choose to. So in the center here, you're going to say that on the first day, that first email is going to go out. I'm going to show you what that email looks like. So in the center here, we're going to click on the send email, and you're going to see that the email details show up. The email type is it's a design because you could do a simple email type or a design. The design, when you want to preview it, you can click on preview. And you're going to see in here that this is built out. We've already added the text and the information into the details. So you're going to say, see in here that it's going to say Dear with contact first name. When it has those merge fields where it says the star with contact first name, what that is it will pull the name that you have within your contact section. So if I'm sending, let's say, to Maureen, it will say Dear Maureen because it pulls from the contact. So by using those merge fields, you're saving yourself time and you're making it personal to that client. Then we have some details about the fundraiser in here, and we have some information about how they can donate. Then at the bottom, it will say thank you in advance for your kindness and support. And because we filled in your marketing profile, it automatically will pull those merge fields where it says agent first name, last name, mobile phone, office phone, market center address, and market center city and zip. So automatically, you don't have to type everything in. Automatically, it will pull from your marketing profile. So this, when we say we've set up smart plans for you, and we're going to be setting up a lot more in the near future, you can literally grab this and just add your contacts to it. Because the merge fields are already there where it's customized with your information. The flyer is already built in. So you don't actually, for this one, have to change anything. A lot of other ones you pull from the library that are created by fellow associates, you would have to go in and actually manually edit all the info to put your information in. Then,
Colleen, I'm
yeah,
sorry, I
please.
have a question.
Yes, please.
In command, when you have the contact, the like you're in your contacts card.
Yes.
It has the contact's name,
Mhm.
and then there's a spot that says legal name.
Yes.
So if we're doing, and Jim does, integration with Dotloop, as you know. So
Yes.
if we have the contact name, say Colleen Smith, but I don't know, or we have a nickname, or he calls you Call, your
Right.
real
Mhm.
personal.
Yeah.
Would you put their nickname as the contact name, and would that affect the legal signature on the contracts when you pull it into Dotloop for signing purposes?
So it shouldn't. And I say it like that because every now and then the nickname pulls through. The legal name should override what you put in as the nickname, but it doesn't always. And it happens in Dotloop, it happens in DocuSign. So honestly, I mean, it'd be different if it was like James and Jim and you put Jim in there.
Right.
But I would just go with the name that you originally were putting in. I mean, in the name field, most people are putting the nicknames and then the legal name overrides it when you get to DocuSign or the other forms provider. But that's entirely up to the individual because I've seen it happen where it does pull the nickname by mistake.
Okay. Usually like what I do with the SmartPlans too is I pop out that merge field and just say hi or hello,
Mhm.
just to make it.
So a lot of people are doing that too because some people also have the last name before the first name. So you may not want to keep that merge field in there. For the ones we create, you won't be able to edit that though. So that's the only
Okay.
downside.
So make sure the contacts are correctly
Yes, the
placed
name
in
is
there. Okay.
the correct way. But I have seen it work properly when you have the nickname there. But just a side note that it could happen that it pulls the incorrect name when you get to the forms provider.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
No, thank you. Great question.
Thanks.
So then when you've gone through this, what you can do is the next step. So the first step was an email step. Then there's a delay. So see this hourglass here, guys, and where it says wait 7 days. So that's a delay because you never want to bombard anyone with multiple notifications from the SmartPlans dashboard. So what you want to do is you want to set delays in between the different steps. So we went ahead and we set a delay of 7 days. And then on the 8th day, the next email will go out. So then, and for our SmartPlans, for the most part, they're going to be the same emails each time. So again, it's the same email template and everything. So if we preview it, it's going to look exactly the same with the merge field. And then the same thing happens. So for the third email, we wait 7 days because we have that delay. And then on day 15, they get the next email step. Now I want to check something because it should work. Let's see. Okay, so what Shannon and I were just talking about when I said that the merge fields wouldn't allow you to update, it does now let you update. So if we go in on the right-hand side when you select the email and see this pencil up on the upper right, you can click on it. And then the 3 dots that are here, you can actually edit the design. We don't want you to have to do that, but if your database is set up differently where the last name is first, you can go in and you can customize this by clicking on Edit Design, and you can edit it, and you can go in and you can remove that merge field if you would like to. And if you'd like to customize the email at all to your database, you can go through and customize it. For the most part, the reason we're setting up the SmartPlans for you guys and sharing it to the database and everything is so that you guys don't have to go through and make all these edits. But if your database is a little bit different, you may have to.
Colleen,
Yes.
question. You see
Yes.
on the right side there, can you edit the content of the email from the right? Doing it on the right side.
So in this specific SmartPlan, you would have to click into it. So you'd have to click on the 3 dots and then edit design to do that.
Okay, you have to open it. How
Yep,
about
so you
the
actually
first step?
So, yep, same thing. Each of these steps is going to work the same way, guys. So if you click on the send email feature here, over here, this panel, you can click on this pencil right at the top to edit.
Okay.
And then you can edit the email subject because maybe it doesn't work for your database. Maybe you don't want it to say what the subject is here that we put in. You can
Okay.
edit that. And then you can also go to email content and you can click on the 3 dots, edit design, and you can continue to edit the design. And
Okay,
then you
thank
can go through and edit it. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. So once you've edited it and everything looks good, you've customized it, you like the way it looks, and you want to send it to your database, you're going to always make sure you save changes at the bottom, and then you're going to save the plan, and then you're going to close out. And when you're ready, you can add your contacts to this smart plan. So in here, the first one is the smart plan I want to add contacts to. So we're going to go to add contacts. And in here, you can choose the tag. So again, if you have buyers, sellers, family, friends, whoever it might be, you can create that custom tag and just select those individuals. You can select all to select everyone in your database. The one thing I want to mention, because this has come up frequently recently, so if you're selecting all for your database, which is fantastic, you want to send it to everyone. When you select all and you scroll to the bottom, you have to click the arrow to the right to go to the next page and select all. It's only selecting 20 people, so 20 people increments, I guess you would call it. So you have to scroll to the bottom, click the arrow, and select all. There's no way for me to just select all and have all 389 contacts that are coming up automatically added to this. So I have to go through each page and add all of those individuals to the smart plan. Does that make sense to everybody that you have to go through those pages to get those people? And then if there's just, let's say, 1 or 2 people you want to add, you'd want to go up to the search bar here, type in their name, and then you'd want to grab the individual that you want to put on this smart plan, and then add to smart plan. And then just like before, you can choose either start now or start it on a specific date, and then mark off that you've read the TCPA disclaimer, always, and then confirm. And when you do that, within a few minutes, they will start receiving the first step of the smart plan. And then 7 days from then, they'll get the next one. 7 days later, they'll get the next one. Now, guys, it works the same way if you want to create your own, which honestly, I don't recommend because it is time consuming. But if you're the type of person that wants to get in there and create your own smart plans, you're going to click on create on the upper right. You're going to name the smart plan whatever you want to do. So let's say test number 37. You're going to create the plan, and it literally brings you to a screen where it's a blank canvas. You can start from scratch. So if you wanted an email step, you're going to select send email. You click on it and drag it into the first step. And then you're going to go on the right-hand side and create your own custom smart plan with all the steps that you want. The reason you may want to do that, if you have an open house, you may want to create a one-step smart plan that goes out, or maybe a multi-step smart plan that goes out with the open house information. You may have a brand new listing you want to showcase, so maybe you want to create a couple-step smart plan to announce about your new listing. So there are reasons you may want to create your own, or you have a great idea in your head that you want your own smart plan. But again, it is time consuming. You have to add all of the information. Nothing is preset. So you create each of the steps. You go in and customize each of the steps either as a simple step or a design step. Design steps have pictures. Simple would have text and hyperlinks.
How do you make it so that, because you're going to get the, how do you make it so that your action is on a certain day? So for instance, like, a birthday smart plan, right? The ones that I'm seeing, it seems like they end after a year. That's what it appears to do. They don't look like they're indefinite. I thought they were. So how do you?
So you can make it, sorry, Allie.
Yeah.
You can make it repeat. So if you wanted the smart plan to repeat, let me see if it'll let me. It might not let me in this one. Yeah, this is a bad example. Let me go back.
Because I saw the repeat thing at the end, but it's just the
Mhm.
starting. Well, I have some smart plans that I took from the library, and now that
Right.
we're talking, when I went in to look at the actual steps, they all stop at a certain point, and I don't think any of them give me the option of adding the repeat.
So birthday used to have the repeat at the end. They have been changing some of the birthday ones and anniversary to make them better, but just know that it's all action steps that you have to do for birthday because you may want to send a card, you may want to send make a phone
Right.
call, things like that. But let me see if it's
But it's based
still
on the specific day,
right. That as long as you have the birthday within the contact record.
right?
But let me see, maybe they removed it, which is very possible because it's supposed to repeat every year so
Right,
that you don't have to go in and
right.
do anything. Let me see. Repeat.
But I used a different one because none of them had it, and then now I'm looking and like none of them have repeat.
So it looks like the KW ones, they've removed it. It says you cannot take this action on a KW managed plan.
Right,
So I will find out if they will be changing that back because we used to be able to just select that and allow it to repeat every year because that's going to be a little cumbersome for a lot of you to have to keep doing that every year. So I will find out because I honestly, for that one, I don't know.
Colleen, what about the
No, they're
repeat
add
on the
repeat button.
right-hand side? It says add repeat.
So when I hovered over it, it was grayed
Oh,
out and
sorry.
said because no, you're good because when it said that it was managed by KW.
Right, okay.
So
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
find out because see where it says you cannot take this action on a KW managed plan. And if anybody knows the answer, please let me know because I'll be perfectly honest. Since they switched the birthday and anniversary, I don't know why they removed that option. But if anybody knows, let me know. But I will notify all of you so we're all on the same page about it. Because that's a lot of extra that you have to keep adding them to the smart plan each year. Don't want you to have to do that.
Right.
So overall, that is an overview of smart plans. I know we're running over, guys, so I do apologize. Does anyone have any questions on smart plans? We can certainly do a follow-up, another class on this to go over smart plans again. I know there's a lot to it, so it can get confusing, but what questions do you guys have on it?
Colleen,
Yes.
when,
ahead.
so you mentioned, doing smart planning, you can tag, um, what, can you create a tag? I see the tags that they have. Is there a way of creating
Yes.
a tag?
Yes, that's a great question. So for contacts, you can create your own custom tags, guys. And you do want to do this because it's your database. You want to make sure that it's organized. So if you go into your name, so when you click on your name, you're going to go into your settings. So this is outside of Smart Plans. This is connected directly with your contacts. So we're clicking on your name and then clicking on settings. And then when you go over here
What are you
to
doing? So simple. What are you doing? Okay.
So in here, when you go to your name and settings, you're going to go over here on the left and you're going to go to contacts. And then you're going to go to contact tags. Pardon me. So when you go into contact tags, you're going to see any existing tags. And some of them are created by Keller Williams International. So you may want to go through and delete some of them if you don't want to utilize them. But if you want to create your own custom tag, like Frank was saying, you can click on Create Tag on the upper right. And then when you go through, you name the tag and select the color that you want it to be and create the tag. So let's say if I wanted it to just be KW Agents, and then I want to select what color I want it to be. So I select the color, create tag, and then my tag is now in the dashboard here. So right here, KW Agents was created. So after you've created the tag, then you have to go to your contacts, navigate to the contact, and you're going to add the tag in. Not letting me click on anything. One sec, guys.
Yeah, but Colleen, you're backtracking there. You should be establishing these tags, obviously, when you put your contacts in. Otherwise, this is
Yep,
a very,
exactly.
otherwise, this is a very laborious process.
Exactly. Yep. So thank goodness Frank mentioned it, because you do want to create your tags ahead of time, because once you create the tags, then you add it to the contact and then you're set up for SmartPlans. So again, in the beginning, there's some setup you want to do within your settings. So whether it's creating the tags, editing your marketing profile, going through and setting up your command email, things like that, get that all set up ahead of time. And then from there, add those tags and individuals to the SmartPlans. And my screen is frozen, so bear with me one sec, guys. Try and stop share and then reshare. Maybe. Can you guys see my screen again? All right, so then after you've created the tag, you can go into edit the contact, and right in here where it says tags, you can actually add that tag in. And you don't have to scroll through, you could just start typing the name of the tag, select it, and then save. So set up your tags, set up your settings, set up your marketing profile beforehand, and then you're well prepared to go into your SmartPlans.